Hello, this is Chris Heuer with a quick tutorial to get you jump-started using the brand new FreeForm Enhancement Pack, Mylenium Edition. What is the FreeForm Enhancement Pack? Well, it's a series of pre-made After Effects projects that push FreeForm to an entirely new level. It's called the Mylenium Edition because these project files were created by AE and FreeForm guru Mylenium. This guy's helped tons of people online and in forums over the years, and now he, teamed up with Mettle.com, are bringing us this really cool enhancement pack. So let's jump right in. I've opened composition number 4, the gold, and when you open it up, you're going to see the main composition in the timeline, and that's the final render. Then you're going to see in your project file here a bunch of pre-comps. The two compositions you do want to concern yourself with are in folder B, and they are the gold-white stroke and the gold shape. Now if you choose to open a different file, it'll still be titled shape and stroke at the end. So we'll first go into the shape file, double click it, and we'll see we've got the number 8 there, which coincides with the number 8 in the gold project. This is where you'll make your changes. So let's say I want the number 1. This is just a text layer, so double click it. Let's type the number 1, and that is all you need to do in this composition. We'll go ahead and close that. Now that we've rendered back out in our main comp, you'll see our number 1 doesn't look quite right yet. We're still being cut by this second layer, the stroke, and that's still in the shape of the number 8. So let's now launch into the stroke project. And when we get in there, it's going to look a little strange. We're going to see a whole bunch of shape layers. Now there are instructions that come with this, and what they say to do is delete everything but the first layer. So I'm going to select shape layer 2, go all the way up to 125, and we're going to delete those. And now this looks a little less intimidating. What this basically is a mask that wipes on whatever character you have. So we need to change this to a number 1. In the bottom of the comp here, you'll see shape reference. If you turn on the little eye switch, you'll see the number 1 appear below the 8. We're going to go ahead now and just take our mask and reshape it to the number 1. So I'm going to take these points and be aware of your first vertex. That's the one with the big square. That's where your wipe starts. So you want to put that where you want your wipe to start. And then take our second vertex, move it up here. Maybe a third at the bottom, and I can probably get rid of the rest of these. So I'm just going to go to the G for the pen tool and delete these other points. If you have a more complex shape, you can add more points. Just position these so that the black covers your entire number. This is basically a mask. So I'm going to pull this down to about here, and that should do. Now if you scroll, you'll see it animate on. Okay, and that's all you need to do in here, except we need to duplicate this layer again. And the reason is, right now, as you can see, our layer is gray. And if we go back to our main comp, once everything's rendered, you'll see we have nothing. So let's go back into our wipe stroke. Before, the number was white, and now that we've deleted everything, it's this gray. So let's go ahead and highlight our shape. And let's just hit Apple or Control D. And as you duplicate this, you'll see it get brighter. But there's something else going on here. Add a few more. Just hit the top one here, and let's slide back in. You'll see that now what we're getting is a gradient as the wipe comes on. Before, it was just a hard edge. So Mylenium has written a clever little expression in here that actually adds these layers together to give you this lovely gradient. The more you duplicate these layers, the smoother that gradient's going to get. So I'm going to head up to around 50 for the tutorial. And that gives us a fairly smooth gradient. There's also this adjustment layer, and if you hit the E key, that'll show you the effect on that layer, and that's the vector blur. You can use this to smooth that out even further. I'm going to go with what we have right here for now. Let's go back into our main composition now, and now we have the number 1 being wiped in with that same organic molten effect. The only other feature you really need to worry about is right here in the main composition, and that's this top layer called controller. If it's not already open, just hit the U key and that'll show you the keyframes. You basically have a slider that is your wipe completion. This controls your wipe. Also be aware that you do have a camera already in this comp. Now it's locked, you'll need to unlock it, but once unlocked, you are able to do moves around this as it's wiping in. So use your imagination and go wild. So that's pretty much it for this first tutorial. That's the basics for using this enhancement pack. Each of these files has a shape and a stroke layer in it. Some of the later files are a little more complex. They have a few more effects going on. and we'll do an advanced tutorial on those later. For Mettle.com, I'm Chris Heuer.